It's
the 28th of June 1988 and we're here in front of the oldest General Motors factory in Belgium, Plant 1. This factory was constructed in 1953 and as of 1970 the Manta A was produced here until 1975 when the B Manta was introduced. Today is the last production day of the B model and we are here to witness this historic event. The first things we see when we enter the factory are the racks of parts that are shipped from Germany. Here of course is the complete chassis of a Manta B. The chassis are placed on a trolley and this begins the assembly of more than 3,000 parts. Each chassis is anchored to the trolley. The assembly of the front quarters. In contrast to all the other Opel factories, this is the only plant where robots are not used for welding. All work is done by hand. The only aid the workers have to ensure the proper mold and fit of each part are the anchoring clamps. This is the welding equipment that is used in this factory today in Antwerp. The equipment is used for both the Manta and the Ascona. Once the welding is completed and the clamps are removed, the finished product, in this case the front section of the car, is placed onto the chassis for the next process. The next step is the welding of the front section to the chassis, and again the clamps are used. Without them it's impossible to achieve a perfect fit before welding. Here we see the different types of welding equipment. Different types are used to reach inaccessible areas. And again, one part of the production is finished. The well-known rear fenders, as all the parts, are shipped from Germany. It's getting boring, but clamps have to be used again before welding. The fit has to be perfect before even one spot weld can be made. Before the outer fender can be placed against the inner fender, a coat of sealant is applied as a rust prevention. This quality control sheet accompanies the car throughout the entire production. Each part is checked before it's welded to the frame. Here's a nice view of the complete side of a Manta B. The two completed sides are placed against the car, but certain manhandling is required even for the occasional pointy roof. And this is how you correct it, a firm bang. Here we see roof alignment bars placed in the car. And again, welding. A view of the side with the quality control sheet. Also, minor problems are dealt with. In this case, a hammer is a handy piece of equipment. The roof panel. During our visit, we saw that a lot of Mantas were fitted with sliding roofs. The production of these sliding roofs we will look at later. Here we see the placing of the window frames. These frames guarantee the proper fit of the front and rear windows. And again, small problems as we saw earlier are dealt with. The production of a sliding roof. As we can see, there is really more to it than most people think. It looks like a big jigsaw puzzle. It looks like this man is placing the spot welds at his own discretion, but this is not true. There are set places. And again, a car with a sliding roof is born. The welding of the roof panel is done in a special way. This equipment produces a continuing spot weld along the side of the roof panel. The welding of the rocker panel. And this is what happens if you concentrate on the camera instead of your work. During the assembly, not only spot welding is used, but MIG welding is also an important part of the production of a modern car. MIG welding is mostly used when the welds are not to be seen after the car is painted. It starts to look like a Manta. The body is clearly recognizable. And again, the quality control sheet. Now we have arrived at the body shop and we see the sanding down of the MIG welds and other rough spots. The workers in this department look like Martians, but the factory takes a special interest in their safety and health. The master at work. He makes sure that the complete body is as smooth as possible before it goes to the paint shop. A little bit of sanding here, a little bit of grinding there. Is the end result approved by the master himself? Yes? Okay, off you go to the next station. This is the end of the first stage in the production, the actual assembly of the complete body. The first time that the body leaves its trolley is at this point. At the front of the car we see a bell-shaped item. It's a bit difficult to explain how it works, but basically it has to do with the main production computer. By reading the magnetic data, the computer can keep an eye on the entire buildup of the car. It contains information like color, upholstery, rims and tires, engine size, etc. etc. This is the point where the body leaves this side of the factory and goes to the paint shop. All loose parts like sliding roof and filler cap lid are already in the car. The first part of the whole process is the total rust proofing and priming. For this, the car totally disappears in the anti-corrosion fluid. Unfortunately, because of eventual dust problems, we were not allowed to film this from close by. We had to stay behind the glass wall. The use of brushable sealer. This is also an important part in the battle against rust. With the aid of an electronic micrometer, the thickness of the primer coat is checked. The actual paint shop. This is the only place in the entire factory where robots are used. The robot identifies the car, Manta or Ascona, selects the desired color and starts his job. The whole outside of the car is done by the robot. The inside, however, is still done by people. Here we can clearly see the filler cap lid and the sliding roof. The final check. Where needed, the workers here upgrade the work of the robot by polishing some rough spots. The last part of the production process, but also the most time-consuming. The fitting of the interior, electrical equipment, engine and complete drivetrain. Let's learn how a headliner is placed in the car. Don't try to do it as fast as these workers. You'll make a mess of it for sure. You don't have to be too gentle with the headlights. They won't break. The adjustments of the door windows. As you see, it's easy, if you do it about 100 times a day. This man has a serious problem with the ground cable. But eventually he'll get it done. The upholstery. The different types of upholstery are supplied from plant 2. As we said earlier, plant 1 is a pure assembly plant. None of the parts are actually made here. The engines. Here is the well-known 2-liter fuel-injected engine with front and rear axle. The bodies come from above, the engines and drivetrain from below, and thanks to the computer the right engine and body get together. Imagine a computer failure. You might get a Manta with front-wheel drive. And the final result, an almost finished Manta B. The car we see here is the very last Manta ever built. The shower. The whole car is checked for leaks, and believe me, in this tropical shower every leak is found. Final check. Is everything fitted? Are there any problems? Is the paintwork okay? Is the interior all complete? Do the windows roll down? Yes, sign and off you go. The last part of our video, the Manta A and his younger brother next to each other. This white GSI is the very last produced Opel Manta. Right next to it the oldest drivable Manta in the Netherlands. Although there was a little celebration, this was a sad moment for all Manta lovers. Even the German press was present to make pictures for the German magazines. This is the total production number of the Manta A and B together. With this shot we close a history of 18 years Opel Manta. From 1970 till 1975 the Manta A, and from 1975 until now the three different types of the Manta B.